beloved world of magic and beauty. How are you doing this morning? Has the morning turned into afternoon already? You're part of the world. The day begins. The birds are singing. Somebody's already vacuuming upstairs. Where are we in our journey of peace and joy, in our landing and our departing, in our comings and goings? What are your dreams telling you? What's whispering in your ear, in the back of your mind? What's your little left toe saying to you now, right now? Is it saying anything to you? No, I didn't even know I had it. I can't feel it. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Mine is hanging in the air. My right toe is touching a couch. My left little toe. White wind day. Rhythmic. There is a way to look at these waves as, how can I describe it? Tones 1, 2, 3, 4 lead up like to the crest or to the wave maybe breaking, and then 6, 7, 8, 9 is the pullback on the beach. Not into another wave, but kind of sort of like as if it goes back to return the water to form into a new crest, into a new wave. Which means 6 has to do with 5. So in the wave spell of the red earth, I haven't really done this map. I haven't looked at it like that. If the center of our navigation is, if our own radiance synchronizes us with ourselves, with our purpose. Red Earth is the purpose, or navigating, synchronizing with our purpose. And whatever that purpose is, it might be to have a cup of coffee right now. It might be to live this day in a certain way. It might be to feel yourself in a certain way. It might be to live this kind of a life. It might be anything, a lot of things. There is a white wind whisper in the back of my mind saying, am I choosing my purpose? Or has it been chosen for me? A little aside, I'm looking at my little peyote cactus with its flower. I'm still smitten by that flower. And I didn't have time to look at it yesterday. It's closed. The flower is closed. I don't know if it opens during the day or if it's like, doesn't flower for very long. It reminds me of the flowering cactuses I saw in Egypt. Big flowers. So tone 6 is this wind, rhythmic wind, Rhythmic refers to balance. Oh wow. I love it when I don't remember. Like, hello, brain, good morning. Organize, balance, equality. Organize, balance, equality. I'm sorry, my body is not awake yet. I should not be getting up and making a cup of tea and then sitting down again. My body needs to move. Rhythm, equal, balance, equality. No, man. That's white word bridger. Organize, balance, equality. Wait a minute. That is indeed very world bridger. And the original world bridger is on tone 6. So, organize, balance, equality, death, equalize, opportunity. That's the world bridger, just as an aside. But we're with the wind today, and spirit communicate breath in our synchronization with our purpose, with spirit. What other purpose is there but to synchronize with spirit, to balance spirit, to balance, to be a balanced human being, period. Everything else follows. And what does it mean to be a balanced human being? It definitely somehow would have to mean that you're comfortable in your own skin. That you're comfortable being here, that you're comfortable in your life. It may not be everyone's purpose to live a joyful life. It may be a wish, but it may be like, yeah, well, that's not realistic. Isn't it? Our joy depends on nothing. That's just the thing. It isn't earned, it isn't deserved, it's love. Love doesn't depend on anything. We are love. To bring up, to raise the feeling of love in ourselves is the easiest thing. Isn't it? It's like walking. If you don't know how to do it, or ask a toddler, like, walking is easy. What are you talking about? What am I talking about? I imagine I'm preaching to the choir. Living in a state of love. If we're not in that, if we don't do that, then we can cultivate it. If we choose not to, I tend to believe that maybe we still need what we have. There's still, whatever we're synchronized with is fulfilling a purpose, even if it's not healthy or not happy or not loveful. I don't think anything has no purpose or no meaning, ultimately. But many of us are sometimes more we care more for our plants, or we care, than ourselves. Although I think when it comes to plants, maybe people who really care for plants are good gardeners to themselves as well. I'm waffling. This rhythmic tone, this balancing, this spirit communicating breath, the rhythmic breath, for me, I have discovered some sort of power in breathing. It's a really seriously balancing power. It's very simple, and I'm not into hectic breathing exercises. Last year I discovered some YouTube channels, and then for a while I'm in there and YouTube serves me nothing else, and then I start veering off and then they disappear entirely. And they were all about somatic, like this beautiful AI kind of videos with humans behind, of course. I never watched them, but if I had to watch them, I mean, I would have just been, oh my God, this is such beautiful imagery. And it was all about how to release trauma from our bodies through certain somatic movements, smallish movements, not a big deal. And maybe pressing some points and maybe doing some breathing, particular breathing. Very, very powerful stuff. One of these channels was called Transcend. The other one, I don't know if it was Library of Thoth, also had those. But they are really great. And one of them had to close, got deplatformed or demonetized. I don't know what YouTube is doing. Anyway, who knows what I'm not seeing or knowing. I don't know. Anyway, this balancing ability of the breath. And when we look into geriatrics, into the elderly, into the sickly, we very often find the breathing patterns very shallow, not very expansive, certainly not conscious. So conscious breathing, aware breathing. We don't have to walk around all day and breathe consciously like laborious. Life is easy, not laborious. I'm totally an advocate for ease, flow, enjoyment, not like, seriously, I have to put that proof to the pudding. I have to make a pudding out of my proof. What am I saying? Age will tell. Did I say age? Longevity. Long beingness on this planet, healthy and joyful, will be the telltale whether what I'm saying is crap or not. But I know that what's not crap is, excuse me, I'm yawning a lot, is the ease, the flow, and the joy of moving and of breathing and of living and of being, and that has good for our bodies. They need to move, but that doesn't mean they need to strain. And if people do copious exercise and strain and can mean a very positive way, they love it very often. And very often you find people who did that in younger years pay a heavy price for it in later years. So knowing a balance is not, it's natural. The body knows its own balance. But we're not conditioned generally in the West to listen to our bodies, to be aware of them. And if you look around yourself, if you're past the age of 40, I'd say, that's at least around about then when I started noticing it, gravity. And the whole body, like, there's like a downward, and I'm just currently discovering my diaphragm in a whole new way. Through this cupping system that I'm learning, there are these zones on the body that refer to inner organs. And when we cup, and really these red marks show up in those zones, especially when they show up very quickly, the zone needs some relief. If the zone stays white and really very pale, that zone might need energy, need to give it some yang. If the zone goes very red very fast, maybe even blue, and those are not bruises, the cupping marks are not bruises, they have a name. There are this like stagnant cell stuff that comes out of the cells and then it goes into the skin and then can be transported away by the lymphatic drainage. When it shows up very red very quickly, we need to relieve, need to take some yang out. We need to take some energy out, and then we should do some bloodletting there. Interestingly, according to some theories that have long researched, the upper shoulders, up on top between your neck and your shoulder bone, where a lot of us carry a lot of tension, absolutely rounded shoulders, others, it refers to the diaphragm. It's a zone for the diaphragm. And when I really realized that, I was like, oh my God, a light went on. The minute I straightened up my diaphragm, made my solar plexus, your sun center, up and out, open up my diaphragm into its full radiant position, it aligns your body. Your spine straightens, your shoulders drop backwards, and that zone is relieved of its tension. It affects everything. When you you can just do it right now. When you turn your shoulders down, fold your shoulders down, like going forward, like you're slouching. Your solar plexus moves in, your background's backwards, and if you're standing, maybe your hips tilt forward and you take on this typically horrible position of standing, but you see your diaphragm collapses. What does that do for your breathing? What does it do for health? In the moment, nothing happens. You can do this for years and not notice anything. When you're in your 70s, you suddenly realize, like, fuck, I can't stand straight no more. It's like, wait. And it doesn't take copious, hectic amount of exercise to keep your body in alignment and in its amount of, tonus, muscle tonus. And when you pull out that diaphragm and you drop your shoulders backwards for a moment, you feel your body like sighing with relief, especially if you're actually in that slumped forward position a bit. And most of us look around, even young teenagers have the slouched forward shoulders already because they spend 90% of their waking time with their arms forward, looking at a screen. I'd say it's a lot of time. Or looking at, or writing at a desk, or in school, arms forward, shoulders forward, all of the time. If I could really make a change in city planning, I would have them make, of course, more parks. Berlin doesn't need more parks. Berlin has a lot of parks, it's really nice. But more like these playgrounds for adults. This, you get these gyms, these outdoor free gym-like type of things that you can use. But just like this metal rod playground where you climb up and you can hang, they need to be high enough for me as an adult to reach up and hang myself by my arms so that I can spend a few minutes just hanging. And those ought to be everywhere. Everywhere there's a grocery store. Like, they have to be that frequent. Adults have to go and hang themselves. And also hang by our knees. Remember, did you do that as a kid? Hang your knees on one of those and just dangle your arms and head? In German, that's called Schweinebaumel. That's a word you can remember, Schweinebaumel. It's a cute word. It's a pig dangling. Pig dangle. A pig dangle. That's what it's called, to do pig dangling. Don't ask me why. If you're a Muslim listening to this, I hope I haven't offended you. But anyway, a dangling pig. It comes out of the butchery. Otherwise, pigs don't dangle on their legs. Okay, maybe that was an inappropriate comparison. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. In the politically correct world, they will have to someday remove that word as well, since I think they've already in Germany, we're not allowed to call the Native Americans, we can't call them Indians anymore. The Indians, American Indians. Every child reads these stories about Indians. And we love them, absolutely love the Indians. when we're children, for sure. And as adults, I mean, that's generally very much a loved people, because they're our best friends in childhood stories. And then comes the evil white man hurting the Indians. But now they've said, no, you can't call them that. They aren't Indians. The Indians live in India, not in America. Not politically correct to call them Indians. Maybe it matters. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. White wind, communication. So we're centering ourselves in this birthing position, in this birthing of ourselves, are synchronizing with who we are becoming, because we're always becoming. If we stop becoming, we stop growing. And it's not that we're living in the future, we're just not good enough what we are, we always have to improve ourselves. No. A tree is always becoming. It doesn't improve itself just because it keeps on growing. You know what I mean? The seasons on earth, the earth, everything in earth is always becoming. Even the desert, which doesn't have so many seasons, but it's just much, much longer seasons. It's always becoming, it's growing, it's living, it's alive, it's changing, it's eating itself, it's ingesting, it's digesting itself. We're ingesting, digesting, exgesting. I coined a new word, exgesting. That is the most natural word. Ingest, digest, and then exgest. Why do we not have that word? Hello, people who made language. We're exgesting and returning what we have ingested and digested through our information system called the body. We're returning it into the earth. At least that would be the natural course of events. I have found out that I once in an episode asked myself this. When we exgest into the modern waste system called the toilet, and then the what is it called, the system, sewage system, whatever happens to it goes into a sewage big thing. It's not a machine, what's it called, plant, and it's a sewage plant. Interesting. None of the waste goes into the earth. At least where it does so inappropriately, because it then gets put into nature with the evil chemicals. But in a system like, I think in Germany, strictly speaking, none of it should go back into it. It all gets, I don't know what happens to the final bits, must be burnt or something. The water gets cleansed and gets returned to the system. So whatever tap water we're drinking has once been sewage water. It's been cleansed and it's fit for consumption. But surely it remembers. Water holds memory. But does it hold all of its memory? There's a way to clear water of its memory. I learned that recently. I forgot how to do that. It's very simple. But does it cleanse it of all of its memory? Anyway, I don't mean to be gross. It's just that we are all connected. There's no way around it. Even any food you eat has once been earth, has once been a part of, has water in it, that has rain, that has once been dinosaur piss. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just no way around it. We are part of the earth, eating itself, ingesting, digesting, exgesting itself. And that's beautiful. And it's kind of sad that the attitude, at least in the West, we have towards our own excrement, towards our own waste products of our own body. Not to consider that, I mean, we don't have to make love with it, of course not, but to consider it something utterly natural. We've kind of made a taboo of it, much as we have with death. Made it turn into taboo into death. I mean, yesterday I was speaking to a woman who told me her experiences with death. Very interesting. Her husband disappeared, just went out fishing and never returned. They never found his body. Nothing. He's gone. Really quite a horrible situation many years ago, 20 years ago or something. But she said she had a lot of experiences in her life where people died around her, and she had to be the Mercury, the messenger of this death. People died in her arms. Her grandmother, a beautiful story, when she was a young woman or a teenager, her grandmother walked up the stairs, looked up, she was up the stairs, her grandma came up the stairs and then stopped, looked up at her, smiled, sort of like almost half embarrassed, said oops, and died. Like, how's that for? Absolutely beautiful. I love that story. I was like, oh my God, I get goosebumps from this story. And she said, yeah, she looked at me like, she smiled at me like a little embarrassed, like, oh, I didn't mean to die now. It's happening. Oops, I'm gone. Oof, she left. And she said, yeah, that was fine, but I had to like catch her and then tell people, I had to be the one telling people. I had to run to the doctors, who was just a doctor's clinic they were friends with in the building just right there. Oh, please come, my grandmother's dying. Or already died. And her aunt, they lived in a family, big family, aunts and family living all in one house or apartment. And she often went to sleep with the aunt in the bed. And then one evening she was told, don't go sleep by your auntie, she's dying. But she was too small. She was like 5. She didn't understand. So in the night she did go to the auntie and crawl into the bed. And she said, oh, that was all cold. The body was all cold. So many of us in the Western world, at least here in Germany, and I know this because I've done a hospice course working for the hospice, not the hospice place where people go to die, but when you go to people who die in their homes or in old age homes. I did that for a while, so I did a course in that, and it was really a whole day's lecture on how we have moved the dying process away from sight. When I was a child, we used to see hearses. So you still see the hearses driving through the street, and there's a dead body in there. Now the dead bodies are transported in like sprinters and the kind of cars that transport any other kind of thing. They don't look any different. You can't tell that's a body-bearing vehicle. People die in hospitals. They just, like, you hear somebody has died, you don't go to see the body. When I spoke to my father's wife and my father, and I said, please, I'd like to see, when my father dies, call me. I want to come. I want to see him. If he dies, maybe in his sleep, maybe he dies at home. And they were both shocked, like, no ways. As soon as he dies, we're going to call the doctor and remove the body. Gross to have him lying around here. And you're allowed to have your body lie 3 days. You should just keep it cool, because the heat it increases the self-digestive process and makes it smell. If you have a cool climate, the body can lie not smell for a couple of days. And surely we should take leave of our beloveds while we still see them, if we can. That's very natural, very healthy, very good, very healing. And very many times I don't know why I'm talking about death today. I should be talking about communication, life. Sorry. Where's the world bridger in this whisper? We today on 6 in 5 days. So we're in a red wave spell. We're ending on the moon. Before the moon is this star on 12, the hand on 11, and then the world bridger on 10. Oh well, planetary. Duh. I mean, I should be talking about that, of course. That is the manifestation of... Oh, how interesting. I mean, this is really just synchronized itself into today's episode. Isn't that amazing? I touched on the world bridger already because of this equalize opportunity balance thing and the tone 6. And it's how this wave manifests itself, the manifestation of our synchronicities, and everything is on the world bridger. That's the opportunities. You synchronize with yourself, with spirit, with your breath, with your inner being, with your now, and that brings all the opportunities. I spoke about that yesterday. Only now. The now will tell you, oh man, I have a gift for you. In 3 months' time, you can go see the show of ... fill in the blank, your favorite artist. You're still getting the gift now. You're still living the life now. And you're still 3 months of excitement for that moment in time when you got to go to that concert. That excitement happens now. Life happens now. Everything is now. Yeah, man. That's world bridging. So exciting. And we can talk about it. But I'm done now. I gotta get on with my day now. I wish us love. Who's the guy today, by the way? The wind also. We have the yellow human here in the antipodal position, far, far away. Spirit and human belong together, but they're like pole opposites. They're very different in nature, but they're not the same thing. But obviously, but a human without a spirit, a human without breath, is a dead human. Is a dead human still a human? Yeah, for a while. For a while it qualifies. After a certain point in time, it is a was human. It is a once was human. It is a will be human again someday, but is not quite human right now. So, yeah. Organized balance. I'm not organized. I made myself a cup of ginger tea. It's sitting there getting cold. It's really the wrong thing for ginger tea to get cold. Somehow it's the wrong thing for ginger tea to get cold. I want to have a cup of coffee, but I want to have the ginger tea first. Now I have to have them at the same time, which means I'm going to go pee every 5 minutes. I can't drink anything together with coffee and not have it activate my diuretic system. So I don't know, what is it? Releasing water from my system. Well, anyway, it's not a problem. We fix it. It's an opportunity for equalizing balance, challenging, breathing, drinking. Oh, life is love. Please, my friends, be well and be joyful and love yourself a little more than you loved yourself yesterday, or love yourself a little better than you loved yourself yesterday. If you're loving yourself a little less than you loved yourself yesterday, do it with love. If you're unkind to yourself, love your unkindness to yourself. If you just can't be kind to your neighbor, then just love yourself for not being able to be kind to your neighbor. You know why? Because you're being honest, and there's, fake love is worse than honest unkindness. I think so. I don't know. I speak under correction. A lot of people would disagree. No, better fake and be kind, because then the world remains a kind place. Well, either way, be aware of what you're doing. Maybe then you can just be compassionate with yourself. Compassion is the key to everything, even to changing our unkindness. And sometimes you can be like, fuck you, I don't want to change my unkindness. Fuck you. Like, yeah, well, go for it. Like really give it stick. Like, give it all your passion. Angry passion can be also just like let the steam out, like just be yourself. Like, that's the best thing you can be for the world. Man, I have friends who are so genuinely unkind occasionally. It's just like you can laugh your head off about it, because it's like it's refreshing. For some of us who are chronically repressed into forced kindness, it's really refreshing. Anyway, we're sending lots of love, and we connect through the field, and inshallah I'll be back tomorrow.